The entertainment industry has long been defined by its complex web of professional relationships, where talent, deals and reputations are all intertwined through powerful agencies that manage the careers of the world's biggest stars. In the latest chapter of the enduring fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, two globally beloved music acts, Ed Sheeran and Coldplay, find themselves indirectly drawn into the controversy. Neither artist nor any member of Coldplay has ever been accused of any wrongdoing or direct involvement with the convicted sex offender. Yet the pressure they are now experiencing stems entirely from their representation by the prominent talent agency Wasserman, whose leadership has come under fresh scrutiny. At the heart of the matter are newly released emails linking Wasserman's CEO, Casey Wasserman, to Ghislaine Maxwell, the British socialite convicted for her central role in Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Although the communications date back more than 2 decades, their public emergence has created an atmosphere of unease among the agency's high-profile clients. Industry observers note that in the current climate, even the faintest threat of proximity to the Epstein case can trigger reputational anxiety. A senior publicist familiar with crisis management in Hollywood described the dynamic plainly. Reputations are often singed not by proven guilt, but simply by association, by being part of the same professional ecosystem where controversial figures once moved. This sense of unease intensified when rising singer-songwriter Chappell Roan made the high-profile decision to sever ties with Wasserman, publicly citing ethical concerns over the newly surfaced documents. Her departure acted as a catalyst. Within days, other artists and their teams began quietly reviewing their contracts, consulting lawyers, and weighing the risks of continued representation. Phones and management offices started ringing with urgent questions. One veteran crisis manager observed that the Epstein files do far more than name individual wrongdoers. They illuminate entire networks of influence that have operated for years across entertainment, business, and politics. In an industry where relationships are currency, the exposure of those networks forces everyone to reassess their position. Casey Wasserman responded to the revelations with a detailed public statement. He firmly denied ever having any personal or business relationship with Jeffrey Epstein himself. He expressed deep regret for his past correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell, stressing that those exchanges occurred long before her criminal activities became public knowledge. Wasserman also acknowledged one specific instance of travel. In 2002 he had joined a humanitarian delegation organized by the Clinton Foundation and, like other participants, had flown on a plane associated with Epstein. He concluded by apologizing for any association, however distant, with either Epstein or Maxwell, and emphasized that he had cut all ties years earlier once the extent of the crimes came to light. The situation places Ed Sheeran and Coldplay in an uncomfortable spotlight through no fault of their own. Ed Sheeran, the ginger-haired singer-songwriter from Suffolk, England, has built one of the most successful careers in modern music on the strength of intimate, emotionally raw songs that have topped charts worldwide. From his breakthrough album Plus, in 2011 to global smashes like Shape of You, Thinking Out Loud, and Perfect, Sheeran has sold more than 150 million records, won multiple Grammys and filled stadiums on every continent. His everyman image, hoodies, acoustic guitar, and a refusal to embrace celebrity excess, has earned him enormous goodwill. Fans and critics alike see him as authentic, hardworking, and largely scandal-free. The sudden association, however indirect, with a talent agency now linked to the Epstein files introduces an element of unease into a career that has carefully avoided controversy. Coldplay, fronted by Chris Martin, occupies a similar position of global affection. Formed in 1996 at University College London, the band evolved from modest indie roots into one of the world's biggest rock acts. Albums such as Parachutes, A Rush of Blood to the Head, X&Y, Viva La Vida, and Music of the Spheres have produced enduring anthems, Yellow, Clocks, Viva La Vida, Fix You, and A Sky Full of Stars, that are played at weddings, sports events and protest rallies alike. Coldplay's reputation rests on melodic grandeur, social activism, and a relatively clean public image. The band has supported environmental causes, performed at charity events, and maintained a level of discretion unusual for acts of their stature. Like Sheeran, they rely on broad appeal and fan loyalty that could be tested if the agency drama escalates.